Good morning.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning in to real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find.
Show up here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Meat Cat Body by Jeremy.
Oh, happy day after Christmas. We got Mike Marsh and Will Vogel in the chat. Yes, I know you are very happy. I had a good Christmas. I hope everyone did as well. I rested a lot. The games are so boring. I fell asleep at halftime on both of them, but they didn't have any problem streaming, unlike the Tyson Paul fight. So that was good. So the Titans have claimed David Long Jr. from waivers from Detroit. So he goes back to where he came from. Congratulations. Go straight to their active roster. And the Lions have picked up Chris Smith to their practice squad again. What's up, broski? Brent DeWitt. I know Fred's out there somewhere. I saw he was commenting there on the other stuff, but it didn't come up on my live because I was running a minute late. Oh, that was good. Help knock most of this cold out. I'm not sneezing as much anymore. Got plenty left for New Year's. But we got a game coming up Sunday or Monday. We're on Monday Night Football this week. Holy shit! I finally got that post up. I hope you guys saw it. I'm sorry I didn't get up sooner. I just haven't been with it this week. It's been a rough week physically. I hope everybody enjoyed the time they had with their family. I hope everybody had a blessed and wonderful Christmas. If you didn't have something to give somebody, we had no injuries the last game, Michael Marsh, so that's a fallacy. We're already down to 15 on the IR in 1 week. Jesus Christ. I swear you didn't even pay attention to what we said the last week, Mike Marsh. It was 17 by the time Wednesday got there, and they were still saying, "Oh, there's 22 on the IR." Only 5 of them are starters with what we have on the roster, so it wasn't as bad as everybody made it up as. I and you could tell by the way we played, it wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. We actually saw Mosley on the field for special team snap. He didn't get hurt. That was the best Christmas present that Santa gave Lions fans. No injury, not one. Yes, it is just proving your point. We didn't get hurt. We didn't drop like flies. You're It's a negative thing. It was nice to get through a game for a change without any major injuries. I hope that continues. No, not really. 15 is nowhere near anything. We got 2 more coming off this week, or at least 1 more coming off this week, I should say, and another one coming back next week. I I just hate this narrative that you're pushing. Everybody keeps pushing a narrative that isn't there anymore. It isn't 22. Most of them are backups and role players. Everybody forgets there's 2 special teamers on there as well as 4 offensive people, but, let's keep making it about the defense. We've been playing with 4 or 5 people out of the defense ever since, let's see, when Anzalone went down, and we still have a winning record since then. We're 2-1. There's nothing confirmed. It's saying he could, and he wants to. His exact words was, "If we make it to the Super Bowl, I'm definitely there, but I wanna be back for the playoffs." That was his quote. So that's what he's pushing for. David Montgomery being back for the playoffs is damn near confirmed as well. Didn't need surgery. Good lord. And right now, we still got the best odds to make the Super Bowl. Hmm. Oh, funny. Funny, funny. That's not surprising. It was a partial tear, not a full tear, and it was a grade 2, which means you don't need surgery to repair it. If you'd have paid attention to the news that came out all that week, you'd have known he was coming back already, Mike Marsh, because that was said within 2 days of them saying, "Oh, he might need surgery." That 2 days later, he didn't need surgery. Well, at least Netflix wasn't so bad that the games looked like this yesterday. I know this is what Pac's complaining about. We're 13-2 still. The Vikings are 13-2. I know it makes them upset to know that. That's for all the fans that didn't think they could do it. So let's go look at offensive rankings here. And that's as of this week. Let's see where the 49ers sit. They still are 8th on offense. They average 365.7 65.7 yards per game and only 34 touchdowns. The Lions are second in the league at 408.6 and 361. Passing offense, second in the league. The Lions, 264.7 and 35 touchdowns. The 49ers are seventh at 235.7 and 18 touchdowns. Rushing offense, Lions are 154.6 with 149 3.9 and 24 touchdowns. 49ers are averaging 130 yards per game and 14 touchdowns. Scoring offense, Lions are first in the league, 32.9 and 61 touchdowns. The 49ers are 15th at 22.1 and 34 touchdowns. Red zone offense, Lions is third, 49ers is 25th. Third down offense, Lions are fifth, 49ers are 10th. Now let's go look at defense. Yeah, that is kind of old news. Didn't watch football yesterday. Also, didn't like the idea of football on Christmas. Thanksgiving is one thing in my opinion, but Christmas is too much. Christmas is about family. Football take that away. Yep, A-Rod being cut is kind of old news. It's been talked about for weeks. Total defense. The 49ers have the second best overall defense in yardage, 304.3, but they allowed 39 touchdowns so far. The Lions are 18th and only allowed 30 touchdowns. Passing defense. 49ers are third, and the Lions are back down there at 27th, but only 15 touchdowns just given up to 18 touchdowns by the 49ers. The Lions are fourth and still under 100 yards per game and 16 touchdowns. The 49ers are 15th at 121 yards and 20 touchdowns. I'm several weeks behind, LOL. Scoring defense. The Lions are fifth. The 49ers are 20th. Red zone defense. The Lions are in the top 10. The 49ers are in the bottom 5 at 29. Third down defense. Lions are first. 49ers are 24th. If you just look at it, it looks like we should just blow them out of the water, but it is a game on the road, and they'll probably. Ah, yeah, that'll make you busy. Anytime for the kid, it will make you busy. Even if the the number 1 seed isn't on the line week 18. I expect our starters to play because that's what Dan Campbell does. He doesn't like his players to have that rest or rust theory going on going into the playoffs, whether they're the 1st seed or have the division clinched. And, the only way it's not for the 1st seed is if Green Bay doesn't beat them. And let's face it, they already lost to them once in their house. And I know that left a sour taste in their mouth, but, they played a better game against us, but still lost the week after Thanksgiving. So it is what it is. I think the Green Bay Packers are playing good enough that they could beat Minnesota right now. And I think the Vikings are playing good enough they could beat Green Bay. I granted one team's blowing teams out, the other one's squeaking by, but the heads up thing, it's a rivalry game. Rivalry games throw the books out the window. But Garendo is looking like he's out. Mason's out. CMC we know is out. Amen, John. And that's kind of what we're doing too, but we need to win. We need to maintain the 1 seed. Because of the injuries, we need the extra week to get those bodies back for the divisional round. So, and the 49ers aren't that good this year. With all the slant merchants out and the screen merchants for San Francisco, they don't Brock Purdy doesn't look as good as he has in the past. Is my thing. Jared Goff is playing some of the bust. It's a little of both. He never had these type of weapons on that New York Jets system or with Carolina. He never had this type of O-line with them, and he never had this type of coaching. So, and every QB is a system QB. I don't care what anybody says because you develop your system around the QB you have. So they're all a system QB. And I think that's exactly right, John. You're clinched the playoffs. Now you're not as worried about everything on if you'll make it. It's your seeding now. So this is when you've clinched, this is when you work on things. It's a little of both, Mike Marsh. He was a quarterback in a bad situation in New York. He's a quarterback in a good situation in Minnesota. I mean, that's pretty much what it all boils down to. KOC has always been good with quarterbacks. Look how many they had last year, and they didn't hit the basement. Their starter went out. What was it, week 8? And they went through Josh Dobbs. They went through Nick Mullins. They went through everyone else. So I think Danny can do the same if Darnold walks in the offseason or they go right to yeah, and that's exactly it. You know, Danny Dimes has never had that opportunity to play on a good roster with good coaching and a good roster all at the same time. I mean, he's been dealing with guys that can barely catch colds on his roster. Sterling Shepard was his best weapon, and everyone else was pretty much an afterthought. Evan Ingram went to Jacksonville and became a star, looking like exactly the person the New York Giants wanted, which tells me it was a little bit of both. The coaching scheme doesn't use their tight ends properly. But Danny Dimes still has a better completion percentage this year than Trevor Lawrence. Funny how that works. Better roster in Jacksonville, better coaching staff is what everybody says with Doug Peterson, but yet same team results. And the proof is Danny Dimes has a 63.2 completion percentage. Trevor Lawrence has a 60.7. He only played one more game. Danny Dimes did. So, you know, I I think Danny Dimes got a bad rap in New York. The New York media was butchering him. It glorified his bad games more. Whereas Trevor Lawrence plays in the Sunshine State, where the media is like, "Hey, you play for us and you won a national championship in college. You're great." Trevor Lawrence is a bust, and that was a mistake of a contract. Fix that. I think Jacksonville made a mistake by not picking him up on the waiver wire. I think he'd have been 10 times better than Mac Jones. Can you imagine if they had both Jones quarterbacks on the team? That's pretty cool, Will. Not right now, no. I mean, I think there is an argument with it being Tyson Bagent because you haven't seen him this year, and he went 3-1 last year. So I think it's almost a tie right there. We don't know what we have in Hendon Hooker, but he has been 66.7% completion percentage. He hasn't thrown a pick, and he's almost as athletic as Malik. You could probably throw Hendon Hooker as third, and then the other backup is Nick Mullen. Dude. And he also went to college just down the road from you with Drake May. So there's all sorts of people we've never seen play except maybe on TV. It happens all the time. Bajan went 2-2, excuse me. But he had 3 games straight where he didn't throw a pick. That's what it was, right, Broski? And then the 4th game he threw a pick. So not throwing picks is a Chicago quarterback. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell Minshew stays in Oakland. I'm beginning to wonder if Anthony Pierce stays in Oakland. It's not like Oakland to move on from a coach after a bad year, their first year, but you're usually not contending for the first pick and then lose it all in one game because you tried. Unless he said, just win, baby. If Mark Davis told him to just win, then all bets are off. It's on him. But by the numbers, it looks like the Lions should win by double digits. They're probably favored by at least 3.5, if not 4.5. I'm going to look right now. Check with FanDuel real quick. I know he's doing great. No problem. I've said he's been developing just fine, Broski Bear. I said, "What's going to ruin him is the coaching staff, the GM, and the O-line." I never doubted his prowess as a quarterback. I doubted his prowess as a leader. Lions are favored by 3.5. Wow. Penn State. I know. He's 328 passes. He's got 45 passes to pass third place, Jared Goff on the list. Then he has to pass Brady. Then he has to pass Drew Brees. That's the consecutive passing list. So Penn State's a 10.5 point favorite over Boise State. Texas is a 13.5 point favorite over Arizona State. Ohio State is a 2.5 point favorite over the team that beat them in Oregon. And Notre Dame is a 1.5 point underdog to Georgia. So they're saying on a neutral field, it would be a pick 'em game on Notre Dame versus Georgia, a pick 'em game on Ohio State versus Oregon, and the other two shouldn't even be close. But I think Boise State, because they're not playing in Penn State, that might bode bad for them. Caleb Williams is at a 62.6 completion percentage on the season. I believe that's what I read. Let me double check that. He's got 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Or 3-to-1, excuse me, 3.4. I think Notre Dame's going to get blown out too. I just don't think he's thrown for 3,271 yards, 19 touchdowns. He has an 89.3 passer rating, all records as a rookie for Chicago. So Caleb Williams is 100%, 50% of the hype coming out of college. He just doesn't have the team stats to make him look great. I think Boise State's going to destroy Penn State because they run the ball so well. Penn State did a decent job versus SMU, turning them one-dimensional, but they were playing them in a cold state. This is on a neutral field, and I think on a neutral field, Ashton Genty is by far the best athlete on that field and got robbed of the Heisman. You know what should have happened with Chicago? I'm going to say it now. Davis Warren's an idiot. The offseason, when Jim Harbaugh contacted Chicago about having the Chicago job, and he told him no in the offseason. That's why Jim Harbaugh's a Charger coach. He called Chicago. Poles wanted Flus fired before they ever traded away Justin Fields. Oh, yeah, he started every game, 100%. I like it and I hate it for him at the same time, Broski Bear. I think Caleb would have benefited better by sitting a year and letting Tyson Bagent be the starter and let him develop and then let him start next year with a new coach. I think you'd have had this record whether you had Tyson Bagent, Caleb Williams, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Jared Goff. I don't care who you had behind that O line, you'd have had this record. The defense has had a steep fall off from last season. I know, Broski, I'm not knocking Williams. Listen to what I'm saying. I think you'd have been better off not starting him. He gets dejected in losses. We're seeing that demeanor he had at USC and at Nebraska in losses. Best running back duo and best single running back is not the same thing. I just think Boise State can beat them. I've said they're going to beat them the whole time. I don't trust James Franklin in big games. James Franklin is the most mid coach in the Big Ten I've ever seen, other than Ryan Day. Ryan Day can beat every team in the Big Ten but Michigan. And Oregon would be smart to go out there and wear Michigan colors. They have that one that's kind of more of a bluish with the lime yellow. They'd be better off to wear those colors versus them on. I at the same time, if he didn't hold the ball as long, because they are holding a pocket. Uh, the Bears' O line isn't as bad as everybody's making them out to be. They're just not that good. Let me make that abundantly clear. They're holding the pocket for 2.5 seconds. Caleb does not make quick reads. When he does make quick reads and he gets the ball out fast, he's very accurate because he's doing short to intermediate to check down throws. Um, the problem is when he plays hero ball, trying to get that big play because they're behind him point and he'll roll out. That O line is not built to do a sustained pocket. So it starts to collapse at about 2.5 seconds. Caleb's holding. All of a sudden, he senses pressure. He starts to roll out, and his mistakes are made then. He throws an off balance pass. It doesn't always get to the target, but it doesn't get thrown for a pick because he is a smart quarterback. I'm giving him credit where credit's due. He's not a bust. And yes, that's where they suck. The Bears are in the bottom 7 in run blocking. And as long as you can't get a run game consistent, no quarterback can have sustained success. We've seen it. When our run game gets stuffed, Jared Goff gets inconsistent. Ian Rappaport, high school state championship winning coach, NFL Teddy Bridgewater is coming out of retirement and expected to sign with the Lions. No, I'm just making the point that Williams is better than a lot of people think he is. The only reason that Caleb Williams might fail is because of the team he went to. Because I'm sorry, that front office and the ownership and president staff is an embarrassment. And in local news, as far as sports is concerned, Detroit Red Wings executive vice president and general manager Steve Eiserman announced today that the team has named Todd McClellan the 29th head coach in franchise history, signed him to a multi-year contract, and has fired Derek Lalonde. So that circus continues in Detroit. On to football. I think Detroit's going to win it by a touchdown or plus. I think it might be a 10-point game. I predicted 34-13 for the Chicago Bears and Detroit Lions game. It was 34-17. I predicted it would be a high-scoring, one-score game with the Bills, and that's what it ended up being. Granted, it went way higher than I thought it would. I didn't think either team would score over 40 points because I thought both defenses were better than that. But the Bills' offense is that damn good, and the Lions' offense is that damn good. But those defenses, you know, other than the Bills and Lions, they don't give up that type of point. Except the Bills did it 2 weeks in a row versus the Rams. Damn near lost to the Patriots. That defense has got issues. If they can't shore that up before the playoffs get here, get that to where they're not giving up so many points, they may struggle in the playoffs. Yeah, I know it will. Like I said, I'm struggling this week. Don't push. I please. I did put the pick'ems out there. Um, so that's the rumor per Ian Rappaport that Teddy Two Gloves is going to sign with Detroit. I'm not doing that today, Will. Today's more of a let's see what we can do. No, I don't agree more teams should be like Green Bay. It works for Green Bay. The conglomerate thing hasn't worked anywhere else. That's multiple owners. It's a rare thing. Green Bay is Green Bay. Everybody else is everybody else. Stop trying to conform the league. Believe it or not, your fans don't have much of a say. Fans are often delusional. The only ones that have a say are the board members, and the board members are the ones that own a majority shareholder. Everybody else that owns a share, they just have a pretty piece of paper. It's a piece of shit. Sorry. Most your common fans are usually an idiot. You guys gripe about fans in your fan base too, Michael Marsh, and some of them are shareholders. They don't have a say. They don't go to the board meetings. The board meetings are the upper echelon of that team, which are the people that actually have money invested, not people who spent $300 on a share. Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. I've said it's disrespectful to use my name. It's disrespectful to put Junior. I do not have a Junior. I do not have a child named Junior. You are done. So yes, I think letting fans, actual fans, have a say in how a team is run. I think that makes about as much sense as wiping your ass than taking a shit. I will not be disrespected on my show anymore. I have begged, I've asked, I've tried to be respectful. I tried to ignore it. I tried to make up fake disclaimers about that dumb shit. No, because I think most fans have the NFL knowledge of a complete idiot. That's that's my point. Good morning, Dwayne. How are you? Good afternoon. No matter where you are, I'm good with it. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Just don't call me late for dinner. Let's go. Detroit Lions won pride. Kings of the North Division champion title. All grit, never back down. 13-2, make 14-2. Yes, sir. And I expect we will. The only thing they got going for them is they still got a decent defense yardage wise, but they give up a shit ton of points. Yes, I already announced that, Dwayne. You're about 20 minutes after me on that. Ian Rappaport reported that Teddy Bridgewater is more than likely signing back with Detroit. I know, and then we got the Goff haters going, all right, start him over Goff. Stupid. Oh my God, I hate stupidity. The guy hasn't touched a football as a quarterback since he was on the practice squad last year, or and the practice team last year. Hadn't touched a football as a starter since the preseason. Jesus Christ, that makes no sense. Actually, Rumor is that could happen anyways with the Packers because the Green Bay City mayor doesn't want to help with the upgrades needed on the stadium. Well, he's coming to be a backup. Whether that's third stringer or fourth stringer or whatever, I don't know. I'm not a it just broke today. I'm not going to make an opinion without knowing the facts. Yep, we announced that too. They also hired Terry McClellan, I think his name is. You're a little behind, Dwayne. You came in 45 minutes late, so Brown Bay Fudge Packers. They could end up in Milwaukee, from what I'm understanding still. The board members are up in the air if they want to accept Milwaukee's offer to build them a dome stadium. So the fact that everybody says, "Oh, Lambeau Field will never become a dome," you're absolutely right. But Milwaukee's offering it, and that's on the table, and the board members are considering it. That news broke this offseason. And that came straight from NFL.com, not The Onion, not the sports trolls, not NFC nor Trolls Fox. You know, everybody forgets those talks. And Broski Bear, I understand. And I said that, and I got trashed by Packer fans in here. They'll never move on Lambeau Field. I said, I'm not the one reporting it. I'm just reporting what's out there from NFL Network. And the pride of Green Bay, the ownership group, they don't want to do that. But they also don't want to have to spend 100% of their profits over the next 10 years to do the upgrades to make that high school seated stadium into an NFL seated stadium. There's still a ton of bleachers. And the move to Milwaukee would make them closer to all four teams in the all three other teams in the division. So it also cuts down on travel time, makes it easier on the fans that are in Milwaukee, not in Green Bay. But 20% of your season seatings are Milwaukee fans anyway. And because of the wait list, as long as the Green Bay fans still want their season tickets, it doesn't change. I think, amen, Broski Bear. I like being real about it. I like giving my honest opinion based off of some facts. But most fans are delusional. They're either way homerish or they're way negative. There are those fans that are in between where they can have a discussion without screaming. I said coming into the season that the Vikings, and I got trash for this opinion on my show, that the Vikings, depending on Sam Darnold, was either going to be threatening us for the division or they were going to be third place at worst because that defense was ran so good. And everybody says, but what about everything Chicago got? I said, Chicago got everything but an O line and a coaching staff. They're going to be in the basement. And I wasn't trying to be mean about it. I did not sugarcoat it. I said, bringing a rookie coach into the dead year of a coach's contract is stupid. And then not investing in the O line. Romo Dunze may end up being a great wide receiver. But at the same time, taking a wide receiver at 9 and not going for the best interior O lineman when your interior O line has been trashed for 4 straight years and you kept the same coach to coach that O line for 4 straight years, it's not conducive to winning culture. Mike Marsh, that's probably the most intelligent thing I've seen you say about Green Bay. And yes, I agree. I agree 100%. I don't think it should move all the way to Milwaukee, but Milwaukee has the funds and the state leverage to do it. That's the big difference. But at the same time, you go to another dome team. We lose another outdoor stadium. Football is football. We're used to seeing it in high schools and college stadiums, not domes. But I said all year, I saw 14, 15 wins as a ceiling, but I didn't want to project it because I didn't want to be called a homer. So my realistic approach was I said, oh, we're going to win 11 to 13 games. Oh, 100%. The fact he didn't reschedule that and threw in a torrential downpour, it was amazing. The problem is now he's on a dome team. As soon as he goes outside, I want to see how he does because in a dome, he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I know you do, Broski, and we had a talk about it at the beginning of the year. And I said it's delusional to think that the Bears are going to go from a 7-win team that was at the bottom end of that 7 wins. It should have been 6, but I'll leave it at that. To a 10-win team was delusional. And everybody says, "Oh, but the weapons. Oh, but Caleb. Oh, the defense." And I was like, "Defenses fluctuate." I already heard all the Bears fans were complaining they didn't do enough opposite Montez Sweat. They didn't do enough at D tackle. Uh, I heard all those arguments, and then they had a couple key injuries. Brisker being one of them. I think Brisker being out is the biggest detriment to this team during this run because he was also a guy that would come up in the box and set the edge in the run game. He was a sure tackler in the backfield. And he's much better than everybody wanted to give him credit for. Brisker was a way better pick than Lewis Cine to the Vikings. I tell you me. It's time to break down the division. Yeah, I know the Lions fans love when I do it this way, but and the rest of the fans don't. But it's just for fun. I'm not actually trolling. It's just these are things that we sell on tumblers through my co-host Dan Leonard, who's working really hard, and I'm not going to push him to be here because this time is about family and Christmases are hard on him for the same reason they're hard on a lot of people. Because sometimes you have more loss than you're given. Fuck the Bears. 4-11. 0-4 in the division. Oh, 0-5. Holy smokes, they only got Green Bay left. 0-5 in the division. You got a good quarterback. They need everything else. 11-4. 1-3 in the division. Third place in the NFC North. 13-2. 3-1 in the division. Second place in the North. They're hoping to not get skull fucked. They hope they skull fuck the Packers this week. And number one in the division, still Kings of the North, 13-2, 5-0 in the division. First seed in the NFC, it is the mighty, mighty Lions who say FTP. Yep, I hear you, Broski Bear, and I know you're a Penn State fan, but I hate James Franklin as a coach. Not because I'm a Michigan fan, because he fails to get it done versus the big teams 99.9% of the time. It's why I expect them to fall apart in these playoffs. I was a bigger Joe Pa fan pre the Joe Sandusky news. I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Brandon Service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road. In Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check us out. Used tires starting at $45 and up, depending on size and condition. If you need new tires, please call 810-233-8230. Talk to George or Red. New tires are delivered within 1 to 2 business days. If you need a set of tires, they will be delivered within 1 to 2 business days. Mention this ad, and you will get $25 off your set of tires. If you need a used set of tires, you will get $10 off that used set. Stop in and check them out. This has been Bobby Lane, do your thing in Detroit. That Bobby Lane shit's done. Screw it. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place, unless you're talking to rival fans like Kitty Ken, then fuck them!